So, you're starting an art club. That's awesome. A place for all that creativity to flow. But before you even touch a canvas, there's this one kind of tricky hurdle, right? What in the world are you going to call it? Well, today, we're going to turn that challenge into a super fun creative journey.
So let me ask you something. Before anyone even thinks about picking up a brush or a pencil, what's the very first masterpiece your art club is going to create together? Seriously, think about it. It's this big, collaborative project that's going to define everything you do from here on out. Yup, its name. And look, it's not just a label. It's a creative act all on its own. It's like that very first brushstroke on the canvas of your club's identity, you know? It sets the tone for literally everything that comes next.
A great name, it's so much more than just a label, right? It's really a reflection of your group's artistic soul. Think of it like a magnet, or maybe a beacon. It's out there pulling in the right people, your future collaborators, your friends. It totally sets the entire vibe of your creative space before anyone even steps through the door.
All right, so where do you even start with this? It can feel a little overwhelming. Let's explore a couple of different paths you could take. First up, we're going to look at names that are all about inspiration and that innovative, creative energy.
Okay, how about a name like Visionary Palette? I mean, that immediately tells you this group is thinking big, right? They're pushing boundaries. That word visionary, it's all about aspiration. It's basically saying, hey, come here to dream big with us.
Or what about something like Masterpiece Makers? It's just so confident. It implies you're all serious about creating amazing work. This kind of name sets a really high bar right from the get-go, which, for the right group, can be super motivating. But hey, maybe your club is less about individual glory and more about collaboration. A name like Color Fusion Collective totally shifts the focus. You hear words like fusion and collective, and you instantly know the magic here happens when all these different ideas and styles smash together.
And this one, oh, I love this one. Artistic Alchemists. How cool is that? You know, alchemy was that old school mythical quest to turn lead into gold. So this name, it just brilliantly captures the idea that art is a kind of magic. You're literally transforming simple stuff like paint and clay into something priceless and incredible. Okay, but what if all that serious, aspirational stuff just isn't your club's vibe? What if you wanted to feel more approachable, modern, just plain fun? Well, that brings us to our next stop, the wonderful world of humor and pop culture. I mean, come on! Artsy Fartsy Club. You hear that and you know exactly what this club is about. It's funny, it doesn't take itself too seriously, and it's basically a giant sign that says, no pretentiousness allowed here. This is for people who just love making art and having a good time.
And in that same vein, you've got Silly Strokes. It's all about being playful. It's fun to say, it's easy to remember, and it tells you that experimenting and having a laugh is just as important as whatever you end up creating.
Now, tapping into pop culture can be a huge power move. Hogwarts Painters? Bam! You've instantly connected with this massive built-in audience of fans. It makes you think of magic and learning and wonder, all tied into a world that people already adore.
Or how about this one? Wakanda Artists. This name immediately plugs into themes of Afrofuturism, incredible innovation, and just powerful, sleek design. It feels so modern and culturally on point, and it's going to attract members who are really inspired by those ideas.
So, you see, this is the key takeaway here. The name absolutely sets the vibe. On one hand, you have Visionary Palette. Sounds pretty serious, right? Like a group dedicated to creating groundbreaking art. But on the other hand, Doodles and Giggles. Well, that sounds like a super relaxed, fun first group where it's all about just enjoying the process. And look, neither one is better than the other. They just attract totally different kinds of people who are looking for different things. Okay, so we've explored all these different flavors and vibes your name could have. That's the fun part. But how do you actually, narrow it down and make a final call? Let's get practical and move on to the toolkit for finding that perfect name.
All right, this toolkit breaks it all down into 7 key tips. Now, some of these are pretty obvious, right? You want a name that reflects your focus, and you want it to be simple. But I want to point out a couple of really crucial ones here. Number 4, mind your initials. Seriously, you do not want to accidentally spell something embarrassing with your acronym. And number 5, this one is so important for building your community. Involve everyone in the decision. When everybody helps choose the name, it creates this powerful sense of ownership right from day one.
And really, when you boil it all down, the whole process comes back to this one idea. This isn't just about finding a label for your club. It's about capturing the unique spirit of your group in a few words. The goal is to find a name that feels just as alive, just as creative, and just as full of potential as the art you're all about to make together.
So I'm going to leave you with this final thought. You're not just starting an art club, you're starting a new story, and every single member is a co-author. So the only question left is, what are you going to call your story?